Things have changed since the last time you left the building. What's going on out there will make you wish you were back in here. I have an infinite capacity for knowledge, and even I'm not sure what's going on outside. All I know is I'm the only thing standing between us and them.
This line always stuck out to me. It implies that GLaDOS is keeping Combine out of Aperture science throughout the events of Portal 1. But is this something she could actually do? Let's look through GLaDOS and the Combine's abilities to see who would come out on top. For this, I will specifically be looking through the Combine's Earth branch, as there isn't much known about their full-scale empire, other than it being completely broken and complete overkill for this matchup. For GLaDOS, I will specifically be going through her Portal 2 variant, as that is undeniably the strongest version. With all that out of the way, let's get to it. Starting things off with the Grunts, they're essentially City 17 police force but with better weaponry. Instead of stun batons and pistols, they have shotguns and manhacks. However, unlike soldiers, their armor is not bullet resistant in any way. They're more akin to stormtroopers. They're a set dressing that does tasks. Moving on to the soldiers, we actually have a capable specimen for combative scenarios. Their armor is semi-bulletproof, they're semi-resistant to pain, and they're low-key terrifying. Through rigorous mental modification, these guys had their memories removed and replaced with combative training. They know how to use SMGs, grenades, shotguns, pulse rifles, rocket launchers, mounted turrets, rocket launchers, you name it. I think I forgot to mention they also know how to use rocket launchers. Now just take that and pump it with steroids and you got yourself a charger. Clad in heavy duty gear, thick armor, and a super shotgun with a portable energy shield that absorbs incoming fire attached. If it weren't for the whole modification thing, this really makes you wonder why they even bother having grunts. Speaking of which, if you take a charger and pump that with steroids, you got yourself a suppressor. Instead of a super shotgun, they're equipped with a pulse minigun that turns anything in front of them into Swiss cheese. These guys are so efficient at killing with bulletproof armor and bulletproof shields that literally the only opportunity you can hurt them is when they take the time to reload. Above them are the Ordinals. Cold, calculated, emotionless, their reason for being to be tactical overseers on the ground for the other troops. Like everybody else, they're efficient killers and armed to the teeth with tactical weaponry, like shotguns, rifles, grenades, etc. Though their armor is not bulletproof similar to the Grunts, they are certainly a force to be reckoned with when they have a rally of troops behind them. And if all of that is not enough, the Combine can always send in the Elite. These guys are rare but terrifying. They're like the Ordinals. They don't know fear, they don't know pain, they don't care about self-preservation, but they're the strongest, fastest, and smartest Combine variants you can come across. They're armed with pulse rifles, a brilliant, deadly mix of human and Combine technology that not only fires bullets at a high rate, but also fires a dark energy orb. This is a concentrated orb of dark energy that will vaporize any organic material it comes in contact with. It even looks like it is aiming for it half the time. It wants to kill. With all this, it is no doubt that the Elite are the muscle of the Combine strike force. And at the head of it all is the Overwatch AI. She is an AI that overlooks and controls all the Combine's operations on Earth. Whenever a soldier gets injured, she has stimulates keep them awake. When a soldier is down, she sends reinforcements to that area. She'd see every combative scenario through cameras, manhacks, and Combine troops, and learn how to create better strategies. If a resistance is too great, she'll send alien units like gunships, striders, and hunters to take them down. Mobility would absolutely be on their side, and thanks to the AI, they'll learn from every encounter and anything GLaDOS throws at them. Granted, there aren't an endless amount of troops and aliens equipped for advanced combat and domination, but you can see how they'd be a formidable threat. So with all this in mind, could GLaDOS even stand a chance? Honestly, I think she'd have a pretty good shot. For her lack of agility, GLaDOS more than makes up for it with her god-tier multitasking. She's so efficient at her job, she fully cleaned and restored the entirety of Aperture science in just a couple of hours. Keep in mind, this is a facility that spans miles in all directions, and have been completely taken over by nature. She's also hyper-intelligent, able to invent robots physically on par with peak humans and nanobots for doing jobs on the microscopic level. She's also a master manipulator. She won't just set up a trap for you, oh no. She'll straight up mock you before, during, and after you fell for the trap. She doesn't just test with portals, she'll test with your patience too. GLaDOS is one of the most formidable AIs in fiction, and the only one that can boast you in addition having a heartbreaking singing voice. But she wouldn't be anything without her facilities, so how would the Combine fare against that? It's implied the Combine know of Aperture's existence, and likely already know where it is, but most of their knowledge on the company itself would likely come from the missing Borealis. Other than that, they don't know what's kept inside the facility or what GLaDOS even is. In this scenario, they'll believe it to be a base of operation for the Resistance, and their goal is to infiltrate it and disable GLaDOS. But right off the bat, traversing Aperture would be an absolute nightmare, even for the Combine. Not only do they not know where GLaDOS is, the facility is not at all designed with human convenience in mind. Without a portal gun, you'll have to rely on walkways looming over pits and walking through back rooms that resemble less of a workspace and more of a labyrinth. They could try their luck with building bridges over the vast bottomless pits, but yeah, good luck with that. At the very least, thanks to their gas masks, they'll be immune to her trademark deadly neurotoxin, so at least I got that going for them. On the flip side though, because there's no organic life in the facility, most of their dirty tactics like using headcrab missiles or even dark energy orbs aren't really going to have any effect on this place. And keep in mind, that's just getting around. GLaDOS would be actively trying to kill them every step of the way and setting up booby traps wherever she can. She could place waves of turrets down hallways or across pits, place emancipation grills to disintegrate their weapons and very likely their gear too, redirect launching pads to launch soldiers into laser grills, redirect elevators to bring them into the opera room. Yeah, you're not coming out of this alive. Or she could drop them all into a chamber and get free test subjects. Honestly, she'd probably prefer that. When she found a vault filled with hundreds of human test subjects inside, she killed all of them through testing within a week. Well, okay. What about alien soldiers? Striders would be able to take out 1,000 turrets easy. That's true. They are essentially if you made a tank out of a Japanese spider crab. But even that is going to have trouble navigating the place. It's either going to be out in the open and exposed to whatever GLaDOS has in store, or it's cramped in tight backroom spaces and small wedges. It's not doing either of those. Gunships and dropships would have a better time making their way across the facility and pushing back GLaDOS' defenses, but there's nothing really stopping GLaDOS from starting up a light bridge right in front of them. Or she could go the Wheatley route and smash them between giant spikes. I can't really think of a scenario where going at GLaDOS head-on isn't doomed to fail, or at the very least would take months at a time to make any progress. But could they build bases in GLaDOS' blind spots? That's how Doug Ratman survived for so long and how Chell evaded her. Fair enough, she can't reach every part of the facility and the Combine could easily set up fortresses in one of these blind spots, and there's almost nothing she could do to push back against this. Almost. Honestly, GLaDOS could invent anything. She created Atlas and Peabody specifically to be expendable robots she could have do tasks that no human could complete. What's stopping her from giving them both legit firearms and sending them into Combine bases to wipe them all out? If they blow up, no skin off her nose, she can make new ones instantly. I'd suggest she could easily send in more than 2 at a time, but honestly, even a 19-year-old girl defeated a small army of Combine soldiers in a couple of hours. She'd probably only need 2. Of course, there are scenarios where the Combine would win. If they ever found out about the portal technology GLaDOS has access to, they could call for help from off-world. It'd be GG's for GLaDOS then. If they delve deep enough, they could possibly discover the early model of GLaDOS and take control of the real thing from there, and there wouldn't be a thing she could do about it. But as far as I know, GLaDOS has never used portal technology to set up a trap or kill anybody or anything of the sort. And I highly doubt she will let the Combine know of a way of easily traversing the facility and evading her. As for the older model, while they could discover it, that would take a significant amount of time, and a significant amount of resources to even discover. Old Aperture is about 3.5 miles downward. That is going to take a long time for them to build down there, and I don't really think they'd have a motive for going down there in the first place. In addition, it's entirely possible that GLaDOS would be able to detect and possibly tamper with the Overwatch AI. We know Aperture has the ability to detect rogue AIs wirelessly.
Alternate core detected.
Oh, that's me they're talking about!
Take this with a grain of salt, as this is a bit of speculation on my part. However, if we went with GLaDOS from the original Portal game, I feel like we'd be looking at a different story. While in theory high energy pellets and rocket turrets could do a decent amount of damage to individual Combine soldiers, I don't think it's enough to keep back the entirety of the Combine army given what they have at their arsenal. In addition to the intelligence dampening spheres, she's going to have a hard time cleaning out the facility as fast as they can destroy it. In general, everything I just said is going to be significantly lessened by this intelligence dampening sphere effect. Besides dropping a few turrets in front of you, she does next to nothing in terms of stopping you from reaching her. So while Portal 2 GLaDOS would probably be able to keep the Combine out of her facility, Portal 1 GLaDOS would have a significantly harder time doing so. So I'll say GLaDOS was half right. She is capable of keeping the Combine out of Aperture, but under specific conditions. Portal 2 GLaDOS, though, would absolutely be capable of doing so. GLaDOS just has too good a defense and too many counters for the Combine's tactics and strategies, and she has enough resources to keep it up for as long as she needs. Eventually, the Combine would likely see Aperture as a lost cause, and that's probably the same conclusion they came to in the games. More often than not, GLaDOS wins.